Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock. Let's go over what is happening to Tesla, what we can expect moving forward and all of that good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am, of course, not a financial advisor. And also, of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis on the charts, etc., I do share my thoughts with my members every single day the market is open. That link is down below in the description of the video. For just $3 a month, where I, again, constantly share my thoughts, post updates, mainly on Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks, if I see, opportunities and good things to share, as the market is trading for just $3 a month. Again, it's not meant to be expensive. It's not meant to, make some crazy number. It's just meant to just really, deter trolls, annoying people and stuff like that. Or for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just said, plus NVIDIA daily updates as well in that members section. Link is down below, first link in the description. But jumping into it, Tesla closing the day down, unfortunately, 2%, just over 2%, closing at just above $415 per share, which is a pretty important level. That is, of course, the previous all-time high support level for quite some time. And yeah, so I'll go over my thoughts, what I personally think is going to happen for Tesla stock moving forward, short term and slightly longer term. Yeah, let's just get into it really. So what is there to talk about, right? So first of all, obviously relative to the market, right, down 2%, while QQQ is up 1.3%. A little bit of an underperformance for sure, right? So that's not ideal, but the main thing that to watch, to really watch out for Tesla is the fact that, we are still technically speaking in this, rising channel, arguably maybe even a bear flag type situation. It's hard to say for sure, but regardless, we are in this channel. Regardless of how you want to look at it, it is the channel, right? So technically speaking, I would expect pretty much ping pong action within this channel until one of these levels gives. Now, whether that's the upper limit up here, which will be pretty much a break above 435 to 440, something like that, or a breakdown below this level down here, which, to make it even more simple, really, honestly, breaking below 380, I think would already start being a little bit more concerning. And we most likely will see a much more, and probably pretty quick sell-off down to about the 350s to 360s, in my opinion, of course, potentially lower. So honestly, if we do lose this and we do drop below 380, I'd be a little bit more careful, because especially if we lose something else, which is this bull flag breakout. Remember, we had this bull flag breakout, right? Which we are still broken out of. Like, I still overall, even though short term, like the next week or so, I am slightly more bearish. The next month or so, maybe 2 months, I don't know how long it'll take, but about a month or more, I would say, as long as the levels I just mentioned and we'll continue mentioning just now do not get invalidated, I actually remain bullish. I think Tesla will overall be bullish. It's just short term, again, next few days to a week or something like that, concerning, a little bit concerning for sure, especially considering the market looks like it might be ready for a bit of a pullback, which I'll go over very quickly as well in this video. But the point I'm trying to make here is we had this bull flag breakout, right? We were obviously consolidating, beautiful breakout. We actually have come back and retested it, but you can get multiple retests. So the thing I'll be watching for very closely is, ultimately, as of right now, while we're within this channel, I expect another move to the downside. Now, if this move to the downside holds and it coincides with another retest of this bull flag breakout, which again, let's say it happens, I don't know, by Friday, they'll probably bring Tesla to about $390 per share if it were to happen, which as of right now, I kind of expect it to happen. But as long as we come down to that level, and not only do we hold the bottom channel essentially here, but we also hold essentially the bull flag retest and essentially the 50-day moving average, which is that yellow line right here, I don't really have a reason to be bearish, especially down here. Like here, I'm slightly bearish because I expect that move to that general level as of right now, at least. Obviously, you never know for sure. Pretty much until, as long as we're below about 435 to 440, I do remain bearish, short term. But if we do make a move down here and we actually start showing signs of holding and we do not lose about 380 to 375, that $5-ish range, I will start flipping bullish, mainly because the risk versus reward, despite us technically still being in what could be a bear flag, obviously, starts being a little bit more favorable, right, for a long position, in my opinion, not financial advice. So that's kind of my overall perspective. Now, the reason I remain longer term, I guess you can say, bullish is mainly because, again, as long as we hold this general vicinity and we do not lose the retest of this bull flag, which, I expect us to come back to one more time, maybe even by the end of the week, then, I naturally expect this bull flag to continue playing out, right? I expect this just to be essentially like a way to scare bulls, maybe the bulls that chased, up here, for instance, right? maybe get the bears a little too excited, right? And that's where I think we can potentially make our move back up, because don't forget, we also have the bottom of the Bollinger Band sitting pretty much almost in line with that 50 EMA. So, I do expect this general level to be a pretty massive area of support if, and hopefully in my case at least when, because I'm very excited to go long there if we get it, as long as it holds. Plain and simple, as long as it holds. Now, like I said, if it doesn't hold and we start losing these levels again, I expect us to at the very least come back down to about the 350s. The issue with that is, unfortunately, we will most likely break down back into this bull flag that will essentially be this, move that we're currently experiencing, essentially be a false breakout. And we'll see. We'll have to see if it happens. I don't want to start getting into too many theoreticals. It hasn't happened, right? So I'm not gonna start talking about all these different theoretical possibilities unless they actually happen. For now, I think the most important thing to watch for is just how it moves within this little channel that we're in. Do we hold pretty much 390 roughly, 380, 390, something like that? And again, as long as that holds, I think it's looking pretty damn good. Now, the flip side, the slightly more bullish perspective is we could just hold here, right? There is a chance that this kind of 415, 410, this level right here, which pretty much where that green EMA band right here, you can see is this little green EMA band, which we went down below, it turned red, we came back above it. And I actually like it when stocks, after a massive move up, consolidate down below it and the band turns red. I like that. Why? Because then after you experience a move back up over the band and you actually turn it back to green, and so far turn it into a support, which we have so far been doing for essentially the past week of trading roughly, I actually like that. So the more bullish perspective is we do not actually lose this little vicinity right here, pretty much below, again, 415 to, I guess, as low as 405. It's a $10 range. It's a little bit of a big range, but I guess is pretty volatile, right? So that would be about a 2% range from here. As long as it holds that, and essentially as long as it holds and doesn't really close well below this green EMA band, if you will, that we are currently in, of course, and above, and so far holding as support, because you can see yesterday we went below it, but we closed above it. So as long as that continues, there is a chance that the more bullish perspective is we actually do not even visit down here, and we ultimately get ready for that actual breakout, which again still ultimately requires a breakout of above 435 to 440 in order to see about 460s. But that would be the more bullish perspective and essentially avoid this potential meltdown to about, again, 390. So again, those are my overall perspectives, right? The MACD is on the verge of flipping bullish, which is great. We have, of course, the stochastic, still looking pretty damn solid. So the way I look at it right now is, again, unless these levels are breached, any move to the downside we get pretty much anywhere around here, I currently, not financial advice, view as opportunities. Again, all comes down to holding those levels I mentioned. As long as they hold, I think it's looking pretty damn good. If we lose those levels, like I mentioned, again, about 375 to 380, it gets a little bit more complicated. And I'm not going to lie, the bullish thesis becomes a little bit weaker. But again, whether that's from this area or from this area right here, I expect one of these two to roughly hold and to overall bounce, for now at least. For now. Again, that's just my current perspective. Obviously, things can change, but that's my current perspective moving forward on Tesla stock, which again, I think will bring us back up to about 460s. Best case scenario, in my opinion, closer to the upper end of about the 480s to 490s. Now, going into the weekly chart one more time again, and this is why I'm not, jumping up and down with joy or anything like that. I'm not like excited to buy the dip just yet because, we are volatile. There could be traps left and right. You want to be a little bit careful, right? This is definitely an area to be careful of, in my opinion, right? And, it's good to wait for some, at least confirmation, especially when Tesla's being this volatile and this kind of, kangaroo-y, if you will. But my main reason as to why I'm being a little bit more precise, I guess you can say, is the weekly chart. And why is the weekly chart? Well, obviously the good news is the fact that, like I said, we're still continuing to hold this general vicinity. That was, of course, a massive area of supply and resistance really back here. And we're turning it into a support area, right? Which is good, right? That is a good sign. That is absolutely a good sign. And I want to, of course, continue seeing that happen. I think we will, but I still want to see that actually continue to happen. So as long as we continue to do that, good sign. Again, the one thing I'm still not the biggest fan of is, well, we're still really far away from the mean reversion line of the Bollinger Band, right? Again, usually when a stock is too far away, one way or the other, I start expecting that a move in that respective continued direction, assuming it's a good stock. I'm not talking about penny stocks or some, even like therapeutical type stocks, like for instance, Moderna. If you look at Moderna, this stock was, of course, yeah, right. I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say here. you know, as long as it's on an actual good stock or a good company, whatever, you know, this strategy is very powerful when it comes to mean reversion, where essentially, again, when a stock gets too far away from its essential mean price, where it, you know, most often trades, which is usually around this line, like it's done in the past many times. Again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Anytime this stock has deviated too far away, whether it's above or below from the mean line, which is pretty much, you know, right in the center, it always snaps back up or down to it. In this case, back down to it, right? And we have a bit of a ways to go. It's currently sitting at 330. So again, the best case scenario is the fact that Tesla doesn't really do anything too crazy. And the main reason I bring this up is because a lot of people are expecting Tesla to just blast off, you know, well into 500s. And, you know, maybe that happens. Maybe earnings causes that. I don't know, right? Earnings, especially with Tesla, is a massive anomaly. But just strictly speaking off of technicals only, you know, when it's this far away from, you know, the mean reversion line, if you will, it's hard for me to think that we'll go much higher than mid to high 400s, if at all, really, for now, right? Without, at the very least, you know, coming back down into it or meeting somewhere in the middle, or essentially going sideways here and then wait for it to catch up to us. One of those situations. I don't care which one, doesn't matter to me which one, but one of those I want to see them happen. And then once we get closer, that's when I will feel more confident. Again, I used Netflix as an example before, and I'll use it as an example again. You can see how Netflix, same thing here, was very far away from the mean reversion line. Look how far away it got. Now, it obviously lasted for quite some time. But the point is the fact that even a stock like Netflix, which just went parabolic, still ultimately reverted right back to the mean, right? And that's where I like to see. And guess where I entered my shares even before earnings? I got, obviously earnings was an anomaly. It could have went completely down, and, you know, all the way down here, of course, it was a risk. But I entered it pretty much right at that reversion, right around that 840s. And I'm still holding my shares. I mean, I love the stock, I love the company. But the point is the fact that it reverted. And this is kind of what I want to see on Tesla before I get more confidence that, yeah, we're ready, man. We are ready to blast off, right? I want to see something like that. But anyways, that's all I got for you. That's kind of my point I'm trying to get across. But yeah. Oh, options flow. Let's take a look at options flow very quickly, of course. Yeah, some puts came in towards the end of the day here. You can see, right, the last three trades that came in pretty much right before the market closed were unfortunately puts. They were all fairly short term. One of which was, of course, for 124, which is, I believe, actually in a couple of days. 440 put came in, almost $1 million came in for that. It's a split, right? But for the most part, I would say the options flow on Tesla today was pretty mixed, right? You had obviously major put flow, like 1.2 million puts here. You had a 2.8 million call over here. So pretty mixed throughout the day overall. So let's see how it actually ends up playing out for Tesla stock moving forward. But again, you know, if you're interested, by the way, I have a link to this Cheddar Flow down below. It's a great option service with a discount if you use my code. So definitely check it out. But ultimately, I think the chart tells the story, and that's kind of the story it's currently telling me. So anyways, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.